Hey everyone, welcome. Star Citizen Alpha 4.0 has been released as a 4.0 preview channel for almost a week now. So what's the quality of this 4.0 patch? And how's the patch been holding up until this very Christmas night? So in this video, I'm gonna give everyone a patch report from my own personal gameplay experience so far. But before I do that, Merry Christmas! And thank you all for your great support for my channel. I couldn't have done this without any one of you. So thank you all very much. And as the old saying goes, the journey is a destination. And I'm so looking forward to share with every one of you all the joys and frustrations, all the laughters and tears, and go through sunshines and rainy days together on this wonderful journey of Star Citizen. And currently, especially today, we are going through a little rainy day with the current Alpha 4.0. If you have tried to play Star Citizen on this wonderful Christmas day, then you must have been met with wonderful black screens until this very moment. So for the past week, I have been mostly grinding bounty hunting missions, both in Stanton and in Pyro with my orgmates, as well as some FPS missions, also the contest zones. And the number one issue for doing these missions are the mission marker inconsistency. So when you accept bounty hunting missions, there is no marker for you to jump to. The best place to overcome this is to do bounty hunting in ArcCorp with only 2 moons. Even though sometimes you don't have the mission marker, the workaround will be either look for the station symbol, which when you hover it with your crosshair on your ship, you will see reach target location. You can jump there and then the mission will trigger. Another workaround I found out is to Alt F4 and then join back as a combat log. When you join back exactly where you are, a lot of times you will see mission markers again. So that's a second workaround. The third workaround is simply abandon that mission and then keep accepting a mission that shows you a POI, point of interest, that you can directly jump to. And then comes the second biggest problem for this patch is the quantum jump. Even as of today, in certain servers for certain players, you either cannot initiate the quantum jump, or it will jump you directly to the sun, or jump you directly through the planet, going to nowhere. And for that, CIG has deployed some hotfixes. But one of the hotfixes CIG deployed actually made things even worse. So the workaround is simply manually jump to some OM point, try every single jump point that you can, and then jump around. Eventually, sometimes it will free you from that kind of a bug, and then you can jump to the destination that you want to jump to. So that's another major bug and the workaround. But as of right now, it's pretty stable now, but I still hear some of my friends says, oh, I'm jumping to the sun, but less frequent than before. And then in terms of the bounty hunting missions, if the server works very well, it's really enjoyable. We still have certain amount of desync, but we don't have as much desync as the previous one because of the server meshing. And the server meshing does work quite well. I would say it's a step 1 success for server meshing, because some servers we have almost 600 players. And when the server works, you can enjoy for hours of playtime. I remember there are at least 2 or 3 days, me and my workmates played for 5 hours, even 8 hours straight in one single server without even getting one server error. Or sometimes we get a server error from some of our workmates from another system in Stanton, but it will not affect other servers, which is really good, which is the point. But sometimes you will get the server error in one location, one after another. A few times I actually cannot free myself from the server error loop, so I have to exit the game and then wait for 15 minutes, cool down, and then rejoin to a different server. So that's another workaround for this endless server error loop. However, for today's server error, which is black screen, which I think the entire shard just died. So there is no way we can overcome that. Everything is gone for that particular shard. Now, for bounty hunting missions or space combat missions in general, so far for the 4.0 patch, like I said, it has been really enjoyable when the server works. And most of the time, the server works. And I especially enjoy the bounty hunting missions in Pyro. Fighting outside the stations. Look at all these debris and look at the wonderful stations, all the details. And doing space combat, either in first person or third person, it's just so epic, so enjoyable. I mean, when I do bounty hunting mission in Stanton, I want to grind my reputation. But after that, I've been doing a lot of bounty hunting missions in Pyro, not just for the high pay in Pyro, but also it's just so enjoyable, so epic. Especially when you do ERT and VHRT missions. If you fly a small fighter, light fighter, you cannot go up against those hammerheads. They are really, really good. That's another thing I want to report is that the NPCs, both in space and on the ground, are much better. They shoot much accurately. They are more deadly than before. Even though on the ground our TTK has been increased, but the NPCs hit you really accurately. In terms of the space combat, especially when you do the ERT missions, if you got a hammerhead, my goodness, the hammerhead, all the turrets are shooting at you. And also the support fighters. Even a heavy fighter, your shield will be taken down in record time. You either have to escape or be dead. Another thing I need to report is currently the missiles are so deadly. First of all, when NPC shooting missiles at you, you don't hear the missile sound. The only thing that you can see the missile is coming at you is to see on your HUD. If you see the missile symbol, pop flare right away, don't even wait. And sometimes your flare will not work. Sometimes it will work. It's not completely useless, but it's inconsistent. So if you see a missile and you out of flares, just eject your ship. There's no way you can do. Those missiles are hit really accurately and deadly as well. So the NPCs are giving us more challenge now. Much more harder time, which will require us to use higher skills. I love it because it will train you or force you to develop your skills. However, there is an exploit. For example, if you are doing an ERT mission, you have only a light fighter. You go into the mission location, trigger the mission, fly out, either jump out or fly to a certain distance, like 25 kilometers, and then fly back into the mission location. All the ships, enemy ships, will just be brain dead, just stand there for you to shoot. They will not return fire. You can shoot them dead, and most of the time, you will accomplish the mission. Sometimes you will not accomplish the mission. That is another bug in this patch, which is very annoying. The enemy ship has been destroyed, but the mission will not accomplish. And sometimes when you want to abandon this mission, you cannot. It's very sticky. You cannot abandon this mission, which means you cannot accept another similar missions anymore. The only solution is to relog. Log back to menu, log back in, the mission disappears, and you can accept another one, which is another bug and the workaround. Now, what about bunker missions, FPS missions? I haven't done any distribution missions, but I can report on some of the bunker missions. The hard level has been increased. Remember before, the easy level bunker mission, the certification bunker mission has 10 hostiles inside. And then you have a few security guards in there. Once you get there, half of the hostile has been dead, killed by the securities. But now they have increased the number of bad guys inside the bunker, even the simple, easiest bunker. It does not give you the number anymore for indication. It gives you a percentage. And you also have those hostile NPCs outside the bunker. Sometimes a lot of them outside the bunker. So when you get out of your ship and try to get inside the bunker, they've already given you a very hard time. And the NPCs shoot accurately and deadly as well. So even though they can shoot you, can hurt you, you keep losing your health, but you don't get injured that easily. Before, we get tier 1 injuries a lot easier than we're doing right now. I don't ever remember that I had a tier 1 injuries for this whole week of playing the FPS missions. Even inside the contest zone, I never got a tier 1. Mostly tier 3 and tier 2s. Maybe it is because I'm using a lot of my friends as my meat shield. That's why I'm not getting hit. But the NPCs are shooting much better now. So that is another very good thing because of the server meshing. However, I do think that we can tune down our TTK just a little bit less. We can eventually get tier 1 injuries. And then we can do some medical evac. It's a very fun gameplay. But right now, we do not get tier 1 that easily anymore. Another difference for the bunker missions or distribution missions in Stanton or the asteroid base missions in Pyro. Significant difference is that the bunker missions or asteroid base, the bunker turrets and the turrets on the asteroid base are so accurate and so deadly. Even when I flying an A2 with 3x3 shield, my shield went down really fast when all the turrets are shooting at you all at once. So if you're flying a small ship doing these missions, it's really difficult for you to destroy turrets and approach the bunker. You still have to take a hoverbikes or ground vehicle. And by the way, the hoverbikes still will not be shot at by bunker turrets. So you are safe with a hoverbike, either using a hoverbike to approach SPK or approach a common ray. Speaking of SPK, SPK is a very good place to loot Scorch compensators and size 4 Scorch scopes, which are something new in this patch because the Scorch compensators and also the new tweaker stabilizers for your energy FPS weapons, those give you a lot of good buff to your weapon. So if you see them, grab them. And also the size 4 Scorch sight. You can press your left shift to zoom in and zoom out. Very useful little tools. Now, last section for the patch report are the contest zones. Oh, these are wonderful place to practice, to enjoy FPS weapons. However, the drawback is if you don't find a very low population server, it is really difficult for you to go in there alone or only with a few members. In my org, in our org, we often go as a group. Whether we encounter players or not, we go in as a group. That way, we can dominate that place. We have met many challenges from other orgs or other groups, which is really good PvP in there. Very fierce fight, and everyone must give it their all. The good thing is you can loot a lot of stuff inside, and also, of course, you can get the fabricators and get the final price in the executive hangar. In the executive hangar, you can loot a lot of railguns and grenade launchers, and a lot of military and stealth components, which you cannot get from anywhere else. But the problem with the contest zone is when you cleared that place, when you go to the treasure room, when you looted a lot of weapons and components and you put them on the freight elevator in the contest zone, a lot of times the freight elevators are all bugged, so you cannot take those components out or transfer them to your hangar. So you would have to switch server and do that. So that is a problem with contest zone. But in general, contest zone works quite well. So this is it. This is my patch report for bounty hunting, mercenary missions, and contest zone missions. I have not tried salvage nor mining yet, but I have heard from my friends that the reclaimer salvage is still problematic because of the back door. It's very difficult to move cargo out from the back door, and you cannot sell those cargoes directly from the reclaimer. That's what I heard. And also they nerfed the salvage, the RMC price for the salvage. I do not know exactly how much, but they sure nerfed it a little bit. Also, last little tip for you guys is, even though all the payouts for missions are increased, but the cost for everything else is increased even more, even for FPS weapons. How expensive just for the P4AR ammo? It can go to 200, some places sell for 400 each mag. But if you go to Checkmate Station, they sell P4AR for only 100 per mag. And all other ammos are a lot cheaper in Checkmate Station than any other place you can find. I don't know if this is an oversight from CIG, but as soon as you hear this message right now, go there to buy those ammos and carry them and save them and eventually carry them to Stanton to save you a lot of money. I say again, Checkmate. But listen to this, Checkmate has 2 weapon stores. Only the weapon store that's inside, which is close to the ship weapon store, that has the cheapest price. I say that again, only the weapon shop inside, which on the outside it says guns. That store has the cheapest ammo price. You can also buy Demico there, and you cannot buy this price anywhere else. Oh, one last thing. Currently, there is also a bug in Clasher. Once you got into jail, it is very difficult for you to get out of it. So there are two workarounds. One is simply keep switching server, of course, after you serve your sentence. So keep switching server until one server will let you out. You have to keep switching, keep switching, keep switching. Second workaround, personally for me, is once you serve your sentence, you do a character repair on the RSI website. And then you will be out with a crime stat 2, which is actively incarceration. And of course, the third option is always to escape from jail. But if you got a crime stat, you went to jail after you got out, you will see yourself don't have any active mission at all, except for the unverified. So the workaround for that is either you have to wait for 2 hours or simply commit a crime stat 1 and then pay it off. Personally, I haven't tried that workaround yet, but I have heard that it will work for you. So in summary, Alpha 4.0 is not of high quality yet, not up to standard, but it is playable and quite enjoyable. If 100 is the top score, I can give this patch 65 score. 65 to 70% of the time, this patch is quite enjoyable. 30% of the time is so frustrating. This is just the reality. So stay tuned and Merry Christmas. See you guys in the next one.